Yeah, hi there. This is Sebastien Bechara from the England Wheelchair Rugby League team. World Cup winners, by the way. This is the Chip and Chase podcast, so here we go.
Well, thanks for coming on again. You're actually our first rugby league player to come on. We're normally
there you go.
I've focused on the rugby union lot, but
Yeah.
we thought, you know what, might branch out a little bit more.
Let's mix it up a bit, yeah.
Yeah, mix up a little bit. But yeah. Just first of all, how did you get into wheelchair rugby league? Was it always something that you wanted to do, or?
I started off as a rugby union player.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I grew up in England for the first 9 years of my life. I didn't do any rugby back then. I was more of a tennis and swimmer. And then I moved to France when I was about 9 or 10, and I live down south in Perpignan. There's both codes here, league and union. And I started getting into union. I really loved it. And then when I was 18, I had a motorbike accident, and that cost me a leg. I lost my right leg, and then that's when I got interested into wheelchair sports. And I tried wheelchair basketball at the rehab centre. I thought it was brilliant, but I was much more of a contact kind of guy. And I got invited to come and try wheelchair rugby league. I thought, wow, this is absolutely amazing. I tried it and I thought, wow, this is incredible. Absolutely loved it. And then it was only later that I realised it was like, oh, this is not rugby union at all. This is rugby league.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't like rugby league that much. But then eventually I got to. I appreciated wheelchair rugby league much more than I did rugby league. And then with time, I managed to find some love for running game rugby league as well, and now I like it, and it's fine. But wheelchair rugby league for me is just the best sport. Amazing.
Yeah, it was class because when the rugby league World Cup came here, no one really watched or no one really heard of it. But then watching it was just like, it was a class game. I still can't believe it was like 80 minutes as well, like 40 minutes and a half as well. I thought it'd be like 20-minute quarters or something like that.
No, it's full 80.
40
and
minutes.
You get 5 against 5, so you're like always constantly needed. You're always there in attack and in defence. You just never stop.
Yeah.
When you're playing the running game, you can kind of sit back a bit and you kind of just jog up, jog back down. But this is like non-stop, always high intensity. So it's it's a special sport.
I think the good thing about it is, like, with wheelchair rugby union, it's like a completely different sport, but rugby league it's literally rugby in a chair, which is just really cool to watch.
Yeah, it's such a shame for that, because it started off with a name called Murderball. I don't know if you know this story. Then it got into the Olympics and stuff, and they wouldn't accept Murderball as a name. I don't know if this is the true story, but this is the most common story. And then so they changed it from Murderball to wheelchair rugby, and then World Rugby Union just took it as their own sport. They didn't really didn't have to make an effort to create a more inclusive sport, a disabled version of their game. But it's, as you say, it's completely different. It's a round ball. You throw it forwards. You can tackle anyone. You don't have to tackle the ball carrier. You don't have to put it on the floor. You just go through like a touchdown. There's no kicking game. There's no rugby post. There's nothing. And so it's just like, and we have a war with them a bit. They have this name, wheelchair rugby, and because they've been in the Paralympics, and London 2012 is kind of to blame. They became really, really popular, and you go on. Before the World Cup anyway, you would type on YouTube wheelchair rugby, and you would find only videos of that and nothing about our sport, which is such a shame, because our sport is it's just rugby, isn't it, in a chair, and it's just so similar, and it's an amazing sport. So they're really clouding us sometimes, but we'll get there.
Yeah, no, I think you will. I think Toulouse is it in Toulouse, I think, or France? Next World Cup.
Next World Cup's in France. I don't know where yet, but it'll be in France. 2025.
Yeah. Do you reckon you'll be there?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I love it.
100%.
Mate, I was gutted that we didn't win by more. Honestly, I thought we were so much better. I'm still disappointed with our performance. And the first night after winning, after a few hours of celebrating, about 5-6 in the morning, I started watching back the game, thinking this is not good enough. And I messaged our analyst and say, when are we going to review this game? This is not good enough. We've got to beat them by more. It's like we left it to they can claim it's from controversy cause now, but it was nothing to do with that. We were better than them, and so I really want to focus on next year now, and we've got European Championships next year. I want to destroy them there. I've got some mid-season internationals. I want to destroy them. So I want to be there next World Cup, definitely, just to get that second title.
Yeah, no, I was going to say about that because obviously watching the game live, there's a bit that that French referee or the French official, made some questionable decisions. Was that always in your head, or did you try and block that out?
So I was always in my head. I mean, I'm not allowed to talk about this much. We've signed a lot of contracts about
really
about refs and stuff. But I played in the 2017 World Cup, and the World Cup final was held in France, and 3 out of 4 refs were French, and the last one was Australian, and it was just, I've never been in such a biased game. It's awful. It was really heartbreaking because we were winning for the whole game as well. 77 minutes. The last 3 they managed to score and they just got ahead, but we had like 2 or 3 disallowed tries, and when you watch them back, you've got no reason to understand why it was disallowed. A bit like the last try we scored in this World Cup final, the 2 French refs wanted to disallow it. They're like, well, there's absolutely no reason you can disallow it. Why would you disallow it? They were saying it was grounded short and everything. You look at the pictures, it wasn't. So I mean, like when decisions don't go your way during the game, it's like really frustrating, and you think, shit, what's happening? But we've done, like, throughout the years with the England squad, we do a lot of mindfulness now and stuff like that, and when we learn to manage emotions so well, so like when a decision happens, you can, that was really frustrating, and then you just acknowledge that and say, yeah, well, let's just move on, next job, and you don't let it, modify your gameplay. You just get on with playing the game, and in my head, every time we made what I thought was a bad call, I was like getting really frustrated, but then I just got rid of the frustration and anger straight away and got right back into the game, and it didn't change my gameplay at all. Whereas I think, like, I remember a game 3 years ago where we were doing an Ashes tour, we were in Australia, and there was some questionable calls, and I got really angry during the game, and it just changed my whole gameplay. I got really angry, started smashing people, pushing everyone to the floor, thumping whoever could, and getting really aggressive. And I just got loads of penalties whistled against me because of that. So yeah, I think thanks to all the mindfulness we do, and we knew it was coming as well. We were like aware that things wouldn't go our way. You've just got to acknowledge that and just get rid of the emotions and play on.
Yeah, you can see that in like the French players towards the end of the game. They sort of like bit pushing you over and a little bit dirty and all that. So
it was getting dirty, and I love that because I know a lot. I live in France, and I know a lot of the French lads. I play with some of them, and I play against some of them in the French Championship. And so I really loved seeing that I was managing my emotions, and they weren't. They were getting angry, like the likes of Jeremy Bourson and Nicolas Clausel. They were getting really frustrated, and that's when they started making stupid errors. Like at the end of the game, when we had just scored, and then Jeremy Bourson came in for a late tackle. It was just a stupid thing to do because they just gave us the ball back and we could just waste time and we win the game. Whereas if he had just stayed calm, he could have maybe got the ball back, maybe scored, maybe won the game because they would have, succeeded in the conversion. So and Nico, same thing. He got really frustrated and like pulled me completely to the floor. It was like a judo tackle. It wasn't anything to do with rugby. And they just showed loads of frustration where we didn't, which eventually I think helped us win the game.
Lovely stuff. Yeah. When did it sink in then? When you actually won the World Cup?
Don't know if it actually has yet. We spent like 3 days celebrating, and that was you just on a cloud, still dreaming. And then I crashed for 2 days because obviously I hadn't slept for 3 days. So it was like full on 48-hour crash, sleeping. And then it was back into celebrations. I travelled back and forth quickly. I had to come home for a bit. Then I came back to go on the last leg show on last Friday. And same thing, we just celebrated all night. And then I don't know, it's just hard to get off the cloud at the moment. So I don't know if it has sunken in or not, but it's getting there, but still on the cloud, kind of.
Yeah, no, you're fantastic.
Carry the medal away around. Every time I go out, I just take it and put it in my pocket and carry it around.
Yeah. Whip it out. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, if you've got it, you might as well.
Yeah.
Have you got it now?
Mate. Yeah. Never far. Comes with a nice.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yes.
And then it's proper heavy. Like I can't show you. You can't see the weight, but the weight of it is like it's proper heavy thing.
It's thick, isn't it? That's
It's like, it's really thick.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so heavy. So you carry it around your neck, and you're like, just hurting my neck now. Actually, put it in my pocket. So yeah, it's a lovely thing. I've got that, and I've got the Golden Boot Award there as well, which is even heavier.
Yeah,
so
that as well.
Yeah.
Like this.
Flipping it.
Like they warned me before I went up to get the award. And they said, be really careful. It is really heavy. So when they pass it on to you, you're not shocked. And even with the warning, I picked up. How heavy is this? It's mad. I don't know what it's made of.
It's a lovely trophy,
heavy, but yeah, it's quite an honour that.
Who's got the trophy?
Who? What? Sorry.
Who's got the trophy?
Oh, the trophy. It goes from hand to hand. At the moment, the general manager of the team has kept it, and we can make special requests to get it. It's not allowed to go abroad at the moment, so I'm making a special request for it to come abroad next year.
Oh,
France.
Brilliant.
So when last Saturday we were out in London, and we went on the last leg show on Channel 4, and we had it for that, and then we had it for the night. We didn't know what to do with it, so we just didn't let go of it, and we're walking all across London with it in a massive fucking black box, and no bar, no anything would let us in because we had this massive black box and they were scared of it, and we didn't really want to get it out and show it off because then we were scared what would happen with it. It's quite a expensive piece. I think it's got £125,000 insurance on it, so it's quite a special thing. So we're just walking around London with this big box all the time, and no bar let us in all evening. And then we got to this casino, and I was like, right, let's just show them what it is, because they obviously think there's a bomb in there or something. So got it out, showed it, and they thought, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Oh God, yeah. And we went through this whole process of signing into this casino and getting membership and all that, just because they would finally let us in. It took about 20 minutes, and then at the end, this manager guy came over and said, I don't know, can't let a big black box like that in the thing. No way. It's never happened before, never will. So we just waited there and did a membership and everything for 20 minutes for absolutely nothing. We just put it back in the box and started walking around London again, just going from failure to failure. Yeah, that's
brilliant. What story?
Yeah, it's all well and good having it, but if you can't actually, you're just walking around with a black box, with nothing to actually show.
Yeah, well, you don't want to walk. I mean, in the centre of London in the middle of the night, you don't really want to be showing it off, do you?
Yeah.
I was quite afraid someone would come up with a knife and say, "Right, well, give me that." Then I was like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah, someone wants it.
I mean, who wouldn't? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Massive, beautiful trophy, handmade in Birmingham.
Yeah, all the trophies in the fights were massive, weren't they?
Yeah, the men's one is just. It's I thought I was massive, and then I saw the men's one. I thought, fucking hell, it was double the size. It was huge, absolutely huge. So yeah, they're good trophies, they're really nice trophies.
Yeah, technically.
Well, you finally get our hands on it.
Yeah, well, you lot are the best England rugby league team then in the country.
We are the best England. Yeah, we are. Maybe we're the best England rugby team in the country.
Oh yeah, probably at the minute. At the minute.
Most successful anyway.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah. When are the Euros, did you say?
When what, sorry?
Are the Euros?
It should be late September, October next year. So we might have some 3 mid-season internationals in June or something. It's all in parlay. They're talking about it right now. So that might happen in June, possibly in the Copper Box in London, and 2 other venues maybe, and then the Euros should be September, October, maybe France, maybe Spain, not sure, but it won't be England, that's for
sure. Okay, yeah, no, we'll have to go over and watch them then, Will.
Yeah,
I'd love to go to the Copper Box. That'd be cool.
Where do you guys live?
Bristol.
Bristol. Oh, you need to get a team started in Bristol. I don't think there is one there. There's one in London. No. But Bristol's such a union place, isn't it? But
yeah,
I mean, having a wheelchair rugby league team there would be brilliant.
Yeah,
I think there's a wheelchair union team, but it's not all that big. It might just be like a club or something. Because we were looking it up to see if we could like
try it out.
Yeah,
give it a try.
Yeah,
well, London's not that far, is it? How far is London?
It's a reasonable drive.
Yeah.
If you can get to London Roosters, they've got a team, and you could definitely try it out there. But I mean, Bristol. I'm looking forward to see what happens in the next year, because from this World Cup, teams are going to open up all across the UK. I've seen loads of things on Twitter and stuff. Like Edinburgh have started a team because they didn't have one. Salford, Hull, KR. I don't know. There's quite a few, teams opening up, and it doesn't have to be. It's not because it's league that has to be a northern sport. I think the wheelchair version has so much potential. It could open in all. Could go all the way down to Cornwall and stuff. It doesn't have to be a northern sport. It's got potential to be everywhere in the country, and I don't think it should limit itself to the rugby league community. It should become just like overall wheelchair rugby league community could be all over UK.
Yeah, because predominantly rugby league's more northern, isn't it? Like it's starting like what's the team called? Bloody hell. It is
But
mainly
there's a
northern,
massive
isn't it?
separation, isn't there? Rugby league is like northern, rugby union is more southern. I mean, in England, I mean.
Yeah.
But I think the wheelchair rugby league, the wheelchair version definitely has potential to just be a general thing and not a northern or southern thing.
Well, because we were going to try out for a video, try and work out the wheelchair rugby league little video. That'll be quite cool.
What, have you two trying it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you should do that. You should definitely do that. We'll get it done next year.
Yeah, hopefully. That'd be class. So, off like international wise, you play for the Catalans Dragons, is that right?
Yeah, so I've been playing for Catalans Dragons for maybe 10 years now. And then because we play in the French Championship, and the season here is much earlier than the season in England. I've managed for the last since 2015, so the last 7 years, I've managed to do the French season and then sign for an English club. So back in 2015, I played for Leeds Rhinos till about 2017, and then 2018, I signed for Halifax, and I still play for Halifax now. So I won the Super League this year with Halifax against Leeds Rhinos, against Tom Hannawell, Nathan Collins, and all those guys. So I play for Catalans Dragons and Halifax Panthers. Yeah.
Is there much difference between English and French side of it, like in terms of the way they play and the culture?
Yeah, definitely. Like before, I always thought the French Championship was so much stronger, but the French they're quite close-minded, and they're not working towards real development of the game. And I feel like the level in the Championship's gone down over the years. And now, as Catalans Dragons, we want to get into the Super League, because the Super League's just been going up and up, and every team's just been getting better. The development is brilliant. The organisation of this World Cup just shows how good they are in England about it all. And there's always been a difference. The way of playing is different as well. I think before, the English was always much more structured, all these set plays and just doing the same thing all the time. In French, there was just the French flair, just play what you see, but at pace, and that was a big difference I saw before. Now it's kind of changed, but I still think there's quite a lot of differences in the way they play. Yeah, definitely the culture as well. I think the French answer back to the refs much more than we do in England.
I was watching a video earlier on. I think it was you against I think it was Wigan or something like that, and it just looks I think it looks so much quicker than the English side. All run onto the ball. It just looked a lot better.
Which team was this? Oh, Catalan against Wigan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, was that the Challenge Cup semi-finals or something?
I think so. Yeah.
Or was it years ago? No, Wigan. No, it must have been Challenge Cup semi-finals. Yeah. I mean, well, in the Catalan squad, you have the 4 best French players and then me. So it was a lot of people saw us as this super team, and we've always dominated the French Championship. And every time we've been invited over to play against English teams, we've always won. We did these European Championships back in 2015 and 2011, and we won those. And then this year was the first time we actually lost a game. We played the worst game ever in the Challenge Cup final against Leeds Rhinos, and that was it was awful feeling and losing to Leeds Rhinos. I hated it. And that's why I was out for revenge in the Super League Grand Final a couple of months later. So when I signed for Halifax, I brought over. There's another player from Catalan that signed with me, Jeremy Bourson. And we just smashed it. They couldn't do anything against it. We were like so on fire for that final. So the Catalan team is brilliant. They always arrive at, like, the team in general, everyone just arrives so much at pace from the play of the ball. And that's something really important in wheelchair rugby league, is the fast play of the ball. It's so hard to retreat. You don't do it in union, but in league, you have to retreat 10 metres in the running game. It's 4 metres in the wheelchair game. And in a wheelchair, it's so hard to retreat 4 metres and be ready. So the idea is you go in and you make a mess in the defence and you tag up really quickly, like fast play the ball, and they're still retreating, so you can like play in their backs. And that's something that's just so good and undervalued as a skill, to be able to attract people and get a fast play the ball in wheelchair rugby league. Yeah, it's amazing.
And doing that over 80 minutes, that's a lot of work.
It's hard work.
Hard work. I was looking before this call. I was checking out the game again and looking through the stats and stuff. Quite proud to say I'm highest in every single stat. Most carries made, most meters made, most
Start
tackles
patting
made.
yourself.
Mate, I love looking at the stats afterwards, and when I'm high, it's a good thing.
Yeah. But it can be a good stat. I love a good stat.
Yeah. We didn't often have like all these stats before. I mean, within the England team, we've got an analyst now that does all the stats for us. But like throughout the World Cup, there was a page from the Rugby League World Cup page where you could go through all the stats of each team and every player, and even NRL. So that's the Australian Rugby League.
Yeah, I love
they have a page, and they have like fantasy points. When you have like fantasy points, like football and all that. So they did the same for every single player in the World Cup and the wheelchair players as well. So you had like NRL fantasy points and all these fantasy players and stuff, and it was brilliant. You could see every single stat from each game and the amount of fantasy points you got. So and then I've checked everyone now, and overall I ended up with the most fantasy points of the World Cup. So proud of that as well.
It's got all the awards.
Any other little trophy or anything? Just keep coming.
No trophy for that, but
I'll have to make one. I'll have to give one to you.
Yeah,
what's quite noticeable as well about wheelchair rugby league is it also allowed like able-bodied people as well. Yeah.
It's just such a good thing about the sport.
Yeah.
It's just so. The word everyone keeps using is inclusive. It's just like anyone can play the sport, and that's. And I don't think people realise, but there's also people with an arm missing that play the game. Like they were like championship winners last year actually. There's a guy that plays with one arm, one leg, basically, so that he's taken his footrest off. So he kind of pushes with one of his feet on the floor and pushes with his arm on the other side. And he plays rugby like that, catching the ball, and he plays really well actually. He's quite a good player. So it's just there's always a solution, and anyone can play this sport. You don't have to be, a big, fit, strong lad. You can be anything.
Yeah, and with the chair, like they've made it so even if you are able-bodied, you don't have much advantage over anyone that's not fully able.
There's not a huge advantage. There is a slight advantage compared to a paraplegic or tetraplegic, and that's why there is a rule that's installed, and that's like you're allowed 2 able-bodies on the pitch at a time as a maximum. Because they're obviously like a paraplegic person doesn't have any abs, so it's a bit harder for him to like pick up the ball from the floor or twist and be evasive and stuff. But overall, it just equals everyone, and even for like women, and that's why it's a inclusive sport for men and women as well. Being strong isn't really that important compared to the running game. In the running game, you would never put a woman against a 2 meter tall, 130 kilo prop forward or something. But in this game, like you saw it in the England squad, there's Nathan Collins, who's a dwarf, and he's tiny, and he wasn't here this year for France, but France had a player called Danny Denwiller, who's about 2 meters tall, about 130 kilos, massive guy, and they've managed to compete all the time, no problem. And the wheelchair really takes out the importance of being big and strong. It's more of a like power to weight ratio. So and the wheelchair, if you're smart with your wheelchair, you can go in and tackle someone, and you being light or weak doesn't matter. If you control your chair properly, you can tackle anyone, and it makes the sport so good, and everyone's on a fair level ground.
Yeah, on the level playing.
And that just makes it just the most inclusive sport ever, which makes it great.
It's clearly got a lot more publicity as well, because we had never heard of it until the World Cup, and then started watching it. It was like the most revolutionary thing we've seen. It was brilliant.
Well, so we were like buzzing with that, because after the first game against Australia, it was the opening game of the World Cup on the 3rd of November. Wheelchair Rugby League was trending number 4 on Twitter, and that's something like, just for us, it's like, wow, we've gone from being in the shadows all the time. Every time we've done all these high level games, like loads of times.
Yeah.
We did the World Cup back in 2017, and for us it was huge. It was such a massive thing, and so important for us. But the amount of people that were aware of it, that were actually watching, it wasn't that big. But this year, they managed to get us on the free on air TV, so BBC Two, which I think first of all was something that managed to propulse us up there, and then just the social media stuff, and then all the media attention. Loads of people were interested in interviewing us and sharing articles about us, and it just exploded. Really, it was brilliant for us to see that. We were so happy with that. That's one of the best things actually of this World Cup. It wasn't just being world champions, as to how the sport actually gained so many new fans and people aware of it.
Yeah, it's nice for us to see as well, because obviously we both play rugby, and we're media students as well. So it's quite cool to see how much coverage it's got, and how many people are actually seeing it now. It's actually quite cool.
Yeah, excellent. I'd love you to try it one day, and you can make a little video out of it.
Yeah, might make a career out of it.
Brilliant. You can make a career out of it. You might become players. You never know. You don't.
Yeah.
You might love it that much. Like, right, fuck running. I want to go pushing on a wheelchair now.
I might do that. I might give it a go. Who knows?
Brilliant.
Who knows? You might see us in the World Cup in a couple of years.
Yeah, you could aim for 20. What is it? 2029. 2025 might be pushing it a bit.
Yeah, a bit ambitious.
2029
a bit ambitious. But you could aim for 2029.
Yeah.
Come yeah, I ain't got long.
Right.
How old are you both?
17.
17 and
17.
Both 17. Oh
yeah.
Lovely.
Well, at the end of each episode, we ask for an all-time 15, and well, it's obviously quite difficult to. Yeah, so we don't really know.
In the wheelchair version.
Yeah, we hadn't really planned how to approach it. So an all-time 5 or an all-time 5 and bench or something like that.
All-time 5. Oh, I know who I'd choose. So in the wheelchair sport, there's some legends out there. Well, I'll put myself on there.
Have to.
I'll put Jack Brown on there, 100%. He's just too good. When I'll put Nico Clauzel when he's at his peak, he's like absolute beast. And Gilles Clauzel, so he's a bit old now, and he didn't have the best World Cup, but he was like 2013, 2017. I play with him in France. He's just an absolute monster, and I think he's a legend of the sport. So Gilles Clauzel, those 4, and then in the mix, I would put a guy called Cyril Torres, who was the French captain back in 2013 and back in 2017. He also played in 2008, and he is like a legend of the game. Honestly, he was so good. He wasn't the best individual player. He was just like a master, like the mastermind of the sport, and could direct any team to victory just from his presence. I played with him for a couple of years, and it was such an amazing experience. I learned so much from him, and it's just his before game speeches it just made you play like 10 times better. So yeah, that would be the 5 there: Cyril Torres, and then the 2 Clauzel family, Jack Brown. Then I'll put myself in there because I just have to.
Yeah, you got
nice.
In there.
And, if you're gonna win the World Cup, golden boot, golden everything, you've got to put yourself in there.
Yeah, you've got to.
Brilliant. We also do a favorite kit of all time.
Favorite kit? Catalans Dragons 2016. We had this. There was two that year. There was two kits that were just beautiful. There was like a black and gold one with like an arrow like that, and then the same year they had also the red, white, and gold one. They were both beautiful. The 2016 kit was like red, gold, and then white here, and then the full black and gold. It was beautiful. It was such a sexy kit.
Love it.
2016, yeah, 100%. I think it was 2016, yeah. But then after that, they came up with some really awful kits. So they peaked in 2016. It was really good.
Yeah,
brilliant.
What's your favorite kit of all time?
Ooh, wow.
That's tough. I like the one that.
Question. You've got to know the answer to for your own.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yourself.
Well, it depends. In rugby league. Ooh.
Yeah, you can go rugby union as well. I like some rugby union tops. I really like the 2019 Japan-England top. To be honest, it was nice. I like the rose was. You know how it was like.
I
bought one. Yeah, they were beautiful.
I like the Panthers pink kit. I think was it this season or last season? Yeah, that was nice.
Going for the pink. What about you, William?
Oof, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
You got an England training top on right now, haven't you?
Yeah, I think this was last year's one. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about it. I've just been appreciating all the answers we've got. I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said Stade Francais. And
really? The pinks thing?
Yeah.
Pink tops?
Yeah.
I hate the Stade Francais tops.
Thank you. They're awful.
They're lovely.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'll have to come back with that one. Come back to you.
I preferred like Clermont or even Toulon. I like Toulon as well.
Yeah, Toulon's quite nice like them.
Yeah, and then Johnny Wilkinson played there, so that's just adds.
Yeah, helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Seb. Well, thank you so much.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, mate. I hope to see you trying wheelchair rugby league one day.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
And maybe at a game. We'll have to at a game, hopefully.
Yeah, 100%. If we're playing in June, like at the Copper Box or anything, I'll message you. Could get you over.
Beautiful. That would be great.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Cool stuff.
Right.
Cheers.
Thanks for that. Cheers.
Right. Well, have a good evening then. See you later.
You too.
And you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.